Hey y'all, this is Brenda from Slapout Homestead, and today we're making sourdough English muffins. Okay, so what we need to make our sourdough English muffins is we need our sourdough. This is my sourdough after 2 hours. Mix 81 grams of sourdough with 80 grams of flour and 80 grams of water, and then you let it stand for 2 hours. And this is what it looks like. Puffy, puffy, puffy. So the sourdough goes into my mixing bowl. There we go. You can already smell that tangy goodness. Now in goes our water, and it is 454 grams. I always use grams because it makes my math easier. Okay, 400, come on now. Are we gonna have enough in here? A little bit more than 454, but it'll be alright. This recipe you can find on the King Arthur Flour website. It's the sourdough English muffin recipe. Now we're going to add in our dry ingredients, which I've already measured out for brevity. And that is our 843 grams of all-purpose flour, 2 tablespoons sugar, 1 tablespoon yeast, a half cup dry milk, and a tablespoon of salt. Now we'll add in our 4 tablespoons of softened butter. See, I was using my scale. So now we're going to take our mixture off the scale. Put it in our mixing bowl. We'll use the paddle attachment until we get a dough that sticks together. Alright. Once the dough comes together, we'll switch over to the kneading attachment. That's better. Here we go. Now we'll just scrape it off of this one and stick our other attachment on there. Probably need this for about 10 minutes in the mixer. There we go. What are you barking at? Yeah, you don't even know. Alright, scrape around the bowl a little bit. already smell good. Alright, there we go. Now we'll get our knead on, and I will bring you back when we're finished kneading after 10 minutes. Okay, our 10 minutes is up. And I think I'm actually going to put this out on the counter and play with it a little bit. We'll put some flour down so we don't stick all over the daggone place. And we will get our dough on the countertop. Yeah, you still want this one to be a little sticky. Because it'll make those bigger holes. And that way it'll look more like an English muffin and less like a dinner roll. Very soft dough because of the butter and the milk. If you don't already have your own sourdough, and you would like me to do a video showing you how to have your own sourdough, you basically are catching the local yeast that's in your environment and bending it to your will. I can show you how to do that, but it's really not. I could probably just explain it better than anything. But a baker's best friend is a kitchen scale. Because as you know, flour will compact and you'll have more. Oh, that's beautiful. That dough is beautiful. If you measure your flour by weight, you'll have more consistent results. Yes, that's going to be lovely. So basically, to start your own sourdough, you never want to use bleached flour, first of all. Unbleached flour, always. And you don't want to use city water right out of the tap because of the chlorine. So those are the first two stipulations. Pretty much the only two. What you do is you mix equal parts water and flour. So, for example, 100 grams flour with 100 grams water. And you put it in a container on your countertop or in a nice warm room. And I'll show you the container that I used. Because it's best to use something that's glass. And this is the one I used. And it actually held a candle at some point. Of course, I cleaned it out really well. but the glass lid just sits on top. I took out the plastic seal that was around there. I took that off, so the glass just sits on top. It doesn't really attach. It leaves room for air to get in and air to get out. It also leaves room for the yeast to find your flour. Now the native flour that you have, not native flour, but the flour that you buy from the store is going to have its own yeast. A small amount, but it'll be there nonetheless. And that is what will get the process going. And for twice a day, you change that out. You keep back 100 of what you did. So if you have 100 grams of flour and 100 grams of water mixed together, that's going to give you 200 grams in your container. So what you'll do is you'll keep back 100 grams out of your container, mix in 50 grams of flour and 50 grams of water to make it back up to 200. And then you do that twice a day, and it takes a little over a week, and you'll start seeing bubbles. You'll start seeing action in your sourdough. You can see those bubbles. My sourdough is very much alive. I named it Kevin because I thought it was clever. Everything I make with it tastes like Kevin, which kind of sounds like you're saying tastes like heaven. So anyway, Kevin is my sourdough. Kevin lives in the fridge. Once your sourdough is up and alive and well, you'll store it in the refrigerator. And that way you can go a week without feeding it. It's just like any other animal. Now you have a new pet. It's your yeast. It's your sourdough. So my pet's name is Kevin. So we'll put this in our grease container. And once you take your sourdough out of the refrigerator to use it, you need to wake it up. It's a slow riser, like a teenager. That is not going to be big enough. Yeah, there's no way. So we're going to grease this bowl and put it back in there. Anyway, so you bring your sourdough out of the refrigerator and you do that process again. Only you'll do exact same amounts. So you would do 100 of your sourdough, 100 flour, and 100 water. Alright, let's flip you over. There we go. Twice a day until you start seeing some good bubble action. Then your yeast should be strong enough to raise your baked goods, whatever it is that you're going to make. That'll take, depending upon what time of year it is. If it's summertime, it won't take as long because your house will probably be warmer. If it's wintertime, it might take 5 days before your sourdough is ready to raise your baked goods, whether it's bread or muffins or. And you're asking me, what are you going to do with the stuff that you're not using during that time when you're feeding it? You're not using all of it, so you're going to have some left. Well, you can do lots of things with your discard sourdough. That's what it's called. You can use it to make angel biscuits, which are delicious. You can use it to make pizza dough. And a lot of the times, I just toss mine. I keep a coffee can handy, and I just put the excess into the coffee can and I get rid of it. Because I mean, how much baked goods are you going to eat? And I don't consider that wasteful, because this is going to make probably 2 dozen English muffins. And if you have priced those at the supermarket lately, they're a lot more expensive than a little bit of flour. Because really, that's all you're really throwing away, is a little bit of flour every time you feed it. So we're going to let this stand, and it's going to be probably about 75 minutes. I have a very strong, Kevin is very strong, so I'll check back with this in about 75 minutes, and we'll show you what's going on with the rising sourdough. Check out our dough. Man, it's a good thing I didn't leave it in that other container. It would be touching the sky right now. Alright, let's put a little bit more flour down here. At this point, we're just going to deflate it. Which basically the weight of it does it by itself. So gently deflate and let rest 15 minutes. So I will be back in 15 minutes. Okay, it's been 15 minutes and our dough is all relaxed. Are you relaxed? Don't go to sleep now. So now we're going to roll it out till it's about a 1/2 inch thick. And up till now, this hasn't been any different from any other bread or roll recipe that you've already made. Like, what is so special about English muffins? Well, it's about to get different. So stay tuned. Alright, we want it 1/2 inch thick. So I'm going to use my handy dandy ruler. Set it down. That's a 1/2 inch. It's a 1/2 inch on that edge, but it's a little bit high over here, so we're going to smooth it out just so it's a little more even. Okay, here's where it gets different. We're going to cut it like biscuits. And then they go on cornmeal covered parchment squares. Just like that. To rise the second time. Just like that. I've got all my pans already prepped. You can see I use these over and over. So I will get these cut. And we'll get them on our cookie sheets for rising. And once they are all on here, you can see I'm not twisting. Once they are all on here, they get another sprinkle of cornmeal. And then they get plastic over the top. And then they're going to go hang out over there and rise up for probably about 45 minutes. So I'm going to get the rest of these cut. I'll even roll my scraps and cut those too. And they will all go on cornmeal covered parchment, and then cornmeal on the top, and then plastic over the top of that. And then they're all going to rise, and I'll show you what happens next. Next is pretty different too from anything else you've ever made. Okay, here's where it gets different again. You can ask yourself, what you doing, making pancakes? Like, nope. We are baking English muffins. So once they have risen, they go on a griddle at 350. Aren't they beautiful? So they'll be at 350 for 10 to 12 minutes each side. Set my timer. Put more on there now. There we go. It's like a craft project. They're going to start puffing up. This one already rose like crazy. So we actually give them about 5 minutes. And then we do something else different that we've never done before with anything we've ever baked. Okay, it's been 5 minutes on this one side, so we're going to put a cookie sheet over the top. And that should be just enough weight to keep them from getting rounded on the top. So we're going to go 5 more minutes like this. We're going to take off the cookie sheets and we're going to flip them all. Okay, it's been a total of 10 minutes on this one side, so let's pull off our cookie sheets and flip all these. Look how pretty. We're going to go 10 more minutes on this side, and then we're going to check with our thermometer and make sure they're 190 degrees in the middle. Okay, it's been a full 10 minutes on this side, so we're going to check our temperature now. Make sure they're 190 in the center. We'll do the last one. $196. I'm going to check this one right here. $205. Alright, we are done. So we're going to put them on our cooling rack. If they weren't done at this point, we would put them on cookie sheets and put them in the oven at 350 until they register 190 in the very centers. It took some experimenting to figure out how long to griddle them and get them done without burning. Because once you put them in the oven, it's a little more difficult to keep track of them. That one looks crazy. Alright, now you can pull those off if you want to, or you can just go ahead and slide your next batch on there. Yes, we have more. We'll do the same thing with this batch. I like using this big griddle because you can do them in 2 batches. I was using my Cuisinart panini / griddle, and it didn't hold near as many as this griddle does. So I was having trouble with them over rising the second batch, third batch or fourth batch, because I couldn't get near as many on there. But now with this big griddle I can do it in 2 batches and be done. These are the last 3 that I didn't use the cutter. I just shaped them by hand, and don't they look crazy? But that's okay, they will be delicious. Alright, so 5 minutes and then we'll put the cookie sheet on top. These are going to be awesome. And this is how I store them. It opened up a whole new world for me when I figured out that these square burner covers will fit inside a gallon Ziploc bag. So now I slide the cover in there, snug all my little lovelies together, and this one's going to go over the top of that one. This one's going to go there. This empty's going there. And the one with the big puffy ones is going on top. And this whole thing is going to set inside the freezer. I have a dedicated shelf just for these. And that's how you make sourdough English muffins. But before I let you go, I have to show you one more thing. This is going to be my dinner. McDonald's, eat your heart out. Sausage, egg, and cheese on a sourdough English muffin, made with love in my own kitchen. Eggs from my own chickens. Yum, yum. And yes, I'm having breakfast for dinner. If you like this video, hit that thumbs up down there. If you haven't subscribed, I encourage you to do so. We've got lots more baking ahead of us. Thank you for watching. God bless you. And I'll see you on the next video. Bye.